everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we're carrying on with this theme today, not the Cartoon Network, but the whole Funko on my mind theme, so to speak. We're going to look at pop rocks today, so music pops. So there's so many like pops that could be made out of like musicians, bands. But I mean, you could do composers if you really wanted to. I mean, there's film director ones out there, so why not composers? I mean, we're not looking at composers as pops today. We're just going to look at pop rocks in general, so individual artists, bands, stuff like that. So we're going to get on with this and we're going to dive right into this. Before we get started, this was like kind of one of the first things I thought about, but actually it doesn't really make much sense because they've already made like loads of these like Gerard Way ones. They could release pops like based on the other band members, but I don't know, they've done My Chemical Romance a bit too much now. They've still got the Black Parade like pop album thing still to come out. So we're not going to go down that road today. So I've got a list here. I'm going to work my way through it and we're going to have fun with this. Starting with something that's probably been done a little bit, but it's not something you'd immediately think is actually out there. It took me a lot of searching to actually realise that they'd made Funko Pops out of this. But they based it on one album, like one film, as opposed to all the other like kind of eras and generations that they had. I'm talking about one of my all-time favourite bands, the Beatles. So originally there was a 4-pack based on the Yellow Submarine kind of era, and there was like a 4-pack of the Beatles in their respective kind of like costumes, or just with their general style at that time. It's a really cool 4-pack. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on it. It's probably quite pricey, but what we're kind of thinking here is Funko could like kind of almost maybe reissue that and even touch upon a couple other like of the Beatles kind of like notable kind of eras. So I'm thinking like Magical Mystery Tour. Like they filmed the Magical Mystery Tour film, and that and the album, according to something I read on Wikipedia, was basically a bomb. So critically it wasn't very good, but I like the Magical Mystery Tour because they filmed a lot of it here in Devon. Like, so there's like landmarks in places such as Plymouth and Newquay that show that the Beatles were there. They filmed the Magical Mystery Tour. Even says when. We visited them a couple times, so that's quite cool. But you could do the Magical Mystery Tour. There's Abbey Road era. Like Abbey Road's one of my favourite like kind of Beatles albums, and I like their style in like the music videos for those songs. But there's one that you can't beat. It's going to be Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It features the most distinguishable like kind of Beatles song. But in my opinion, it's the most distinguishable. Fuzzy Dunlop, if you're watching, don't take the mic. I'm getting really tongue-tied today. So yeah, Sgt. Pepper's blah blah blah. There we go. We'll call it that. So their costumes in that video are they're so like the mental, and it would be absolutely fantastic to see those like kind of rendered into pop vinyls. So that's Beatles. I think this is going to be a really long video. There's just so many like directions we can go with this. Number 4, it's a personal favourite of mine. It's a band that I've actually seen live. I saw them at the O2 in Bristol quite a few years ago. That was quite an experience. I won't go into it. It is Simple Plan. If you don't know who Simple Plan are, they're a like, American-Canadian rock band. They're comprised of 3 members. They've had guest appearances on one of my favourite cartoons, What's New, Scooby-Doo. And they even did the Scooby-Doo theme song at one point as well. The Simple Plan they're definitely like one of my favourite bands. They still bring out music now to this day that I absolutely love. But if they're gonna make Simple Plan if they were gonna make Simple Plan Funko Pops, I think there'd only be like one kind of era I'd want them to make, and that is from their first album, No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls. I'd like to see that just as like an exclusive kind of like 3-pack sort of thing, rather than being put out as a line. You could have the lead singer in the middle, and then obviously the other 2 either side. As I recall from when I was a kid, they released a song called I'm Just a Kid, and they had this kind of like teeny bopper style at the time. So that'd be a really good kind of direction to go with those Funko Pops. So that's Simple Plan. I can't really go into too much more detail about that because I don't know, they're just one of those bands where their style over the years featuring in music videos hasn't really changed much as such, as opposed to the Beatles, who go the extravagant route every single time they brought out a new album. Just breaking away from the original video now, because I'm shooting this about 2 weeks or so after I shot the original shot. So our special guest for today to discuss Pop Rocks, he's a brilliant YouTuber. He's a very, very good friend of mine, and I've mentioned him on this channel once or twice, so I would like to introduce to you JL Collects.
Hi everyone, big shout out to James from JW's Pop Surprise. I want to thank you for having me on this episode of Funko on my mind. So this theme this week I believe is Pop Rocks. So James put the question to me, if you could have any Pop Rocks pops made, who would it be and why? So I've been thinking about this for a while now, and there's quite a few ideas that come to mind. I mean, there's quite a few Pop Rocks out there already. I don't collect them personally because I don't really like them that much. I think if there was an artist in particular that I really liked, I would probably go and buy it. So these would be my ideas behind that. So my first one would be a set of 4, which would be the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I would love to see that as a Pop Rocks because they're one of my favourite bands growing up, and they still are. I love the music they produce, and it could even go beyond the set of 4 if you wanted to do different band members, etc. Because I know, there's been different guitarists throughout the years, changeovers and things, so you could incorporate them into it, or you could just stick with who the members are now. But yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers I think would be an awesome Pop Rock set. And my second idea I had, actually, it could work in 2 different things. It could be a Pop Rocks or a movies, because it would work depending on how you would go with it. So I will explain my thinking behind the idea of it now. So if it was going to be Pop Rocks, I would love Tenacious D 2-pack. So it would be Jack Black and Kyle Gass together, and that'd be awesome. If they got the pops looking good and done the detail right, got the characteristics of the 2 guys together properly, I think that would make an awesome set. But then it could also work for movies. So if they did Tenacious D Pick of Destiny 3-pack, and it'll be 3-pack because I would love to see Jack Black, Kyle Gass and Dave Grohl as the Devil from Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny. I think that would make an awesome 3-pack. So they're my ideas behind those 2. And then I was trying to think of a third one, and the only other thing I thought of was Run the Jewels. I would love to see Killer Mike and LP as a double pack. Hip hop artists, the music's amazing. I love like the artwork they have on the Marvel covers for some of the comics. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but they are awesome. But yeah, Run the Jewels 2-pack would be awesome for a Pop Rock set. So once again, shout out to James. Thanks for featuring me on this episode. Keep watching, guys, to see the rest of the lineup.
Back to our lineup now. Number 2. It's another one of my favourite bands. I've always wanted to see them live, and I don't think I'm ever going to see them live, especially in this current like kind of environment that we're in. Not going into detail about that. Bands that have been around since probably before I was even born. I mean, I'm 30 years old, so they've been around a very long time. It's the always fabulous Green Day. Green Day are like the Beatles. Every time they kind of brought out a new album, there'd be kind of like an aesthetic difference that you can see in their music videos. So for Green Day, I'm just going to choose from 2 of my favourite albums that I'd love to see like Funko make pops out of. I'd see them adapt Dookie into Funko Pops. Dookie is probably the greatest Green Day album ever made, and it's one of my favourite albums overall. So I'd like to see that as a free pack, or even like as a pop album. Maybe Dookie as a pop album would be quite good. Apart from Dookie, the other one I'd like to see Funko kind of look at is American Idiot. I mean, American Idiot, like for me, it was the album that got me into Green Day. I wasn't going to listen to Dookie at the age of like 2 or 3 because that'd be a bit weird. From American Idiot, I got into Dookie and all their other albums and all the albums that followed that. But with American Idiot, I mean, you can't really do anything with it in regards to like a pop album as such, because the album cover is literally just a hand grasping a grenade. So that'd be a bit hard to adapt into a Funko Pop. But the general style of Billy Trey and company and Mike, there we go. Billy Treacle and Mike having their style from like that kind of era adapted into Funko Pops would be awesome. I'd like to see that as like individual releases rather than like a 3-pack. Just changes this video up a little bit. Obviously, you've got Blink 182 out there who are in individual kind of like pops. I believe we've got Lemmy Kilmister back there as well. They've done Motorhead in like separate pops as well. So that's something I'd really like to see. Before we announce our #1 pick for today's video, just want to mention a couple honourable mentions. So I've got written down here, like at the time of writing this out, there was no sign of this happening, but Funko Fair's on at the moment, and they announced this literally like 2 days before I shot this video. Fall Out Boy. I'm not really going to talk about that because Funko are already in the process of doing that, so Fall Out Boy's out the window. The other one I'd like to see is Eminem. Obviously they've already made 8 Mile, like you got B-Rabbit and whatnot made into Funko Pops, but Eminem is just such a, I don't know, it's such an enigmatic kind of like rapper, singer, whatever you want to call him. You could have pops made from like basically specific music videos, like Real Slim Shady, Without Me, Mockingbird. Like the choices are endless with Eminem. You can just see a whole wave of Eminem pops. That'd be incredible. So that's my honourable mention. And we're on to our #1 now. #1 would be a bit, I don't know if they would actually do this or not, but I'd love to see this. He's already been made into Funko form because he featured in Labyrinth, which is an awesome film. You need to go check out if you haven't already. But David Bowie is one of the greatest like singers and artistic minds of our time, and like, he was taken from us far too soon, definitely far too soon. So if Funko made pops like out of him from various music videos, that'd be awesome to see. Similar to what they did with Eminem, like have a kind of like a Generations line, so you could have a Funko Pop of him from like the Life on Mars music video. Like that stylistically speaking, that would be absolutely fantastic. Another one I'd like to see is a Funko Pop of Let's Dance. Like that'd be really awesome to see. But the one I'd love to see more than anything is Space Oddity. Space Oddity is just one of those songs that you can flex back, chill out. Like it doesn't get boring. Every time I hear that song, but I don't get bored with it. So if we saw a Space Oddity Funko Pop of David Bowie, that would be absolutely incredible. Right guys, that is Funko on My Mind episode 2, Pop Rocks. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button down below. Like this video, leave us a comment, let me know what you thought of this video. Are there any specific like licenses or anything you'd like to see Funko make? Let me know what you think. I might touch upon them in a future video. That's all we got time for today guys, so I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.